Hello, my name is Russell Myers. Welcome to Issues Unite. All right, so I'm going to continue with my coverage on Biden's first 100 days in office, and this time I'm going to cover his remarks at the virtual Munich conference on security. So let's jump right into that. But well, before I get into the gist of it, there's something I want to bring up in this. All right. So virtual Munich security conference. Here is what I wanted to bring up right here. America is back. If you read through this speech, he says this several times. Now, I brought this up before. This is a slogan. And I've said before, Biden is still campaigning. Build back better. America is back. Shots in arms. You don't build policy on slogans. Slogans are advertising. Oh, American Rescue Plan. All of these. You just keep hearing him use the same things over and over and over. And, you know, you build a campaign on slogans. You don't build policy on slogans. Slogans are advertising gimmicks. You know, so, you know, this is just garbage. This is garbage. This is campaigning. All right, but let's get into the actual gist of what he said. All right, so he talks about the transatlantic alliance on which our collective security and our shared prosperity are built. Is he lifting sanctions on our allies? Because I haven't heard anything about that. Shared prosperity. Not if you're still keeping sanctions in place on allied countries. No. Obviously, I'm not going to read the whole thing. So I'm taking this out of context. You can go to the White House website and go to the briefing room. It's right there. We cannot focus only on the competition among countries that threaten to divide the world, or only on global challenges that threaten to sink us all together if we fail to cooperate. Because we can't focus on competition. Yeah, let's not do that. All right, the United States is fully committed to our NATO alliance. NATO. All right. And I welcome the Europe's growing investment in the military capabilities that enable our shared defense. Really? Whatever. Yeah, military investment. We remain committed to ensuring that Afghanistan never again provides a base for terrorist attacks against the United States and our partners and our interests. Whose interests? I don't have any interest in Afghanistan. Do you? No. What he is saying that he is refusing to withdraw troops from Afghanistan there. That's all he's saying. And while the United States is undergoing a thorough review of our own force posture around the world, I've ordered the halting of withdrawal of American troops from Germany. I'd like to know what the German people have to say about that. I'm also lifting the cap imposed by the previous administration on the number of U.S. forces able to be based in Germany. Again, I want to know what the German people have to say about that. Blah, blah, to earn back our position of trusted leadership. Okay, yeah, I got nothing there. All right, the United States must renew America's enduring advantages so that we can meet today's challenges from a position of strength. He's talking about military strength. Military strength. Modernizing our military capabilities while leading with diplomacy. Revitalizing America's network of alliances and partnership that have made the world safer for all people. I'd like to know what the people in Libya, Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, Venezuela, Somalia, I'd like to know if they feel safer. All right? So, safer for all people. No. Democracy doesn't happen by accident. We have to defend it, fight for it, strengthen it, renew it. We have to prove that our model isn't a relic of our history. It's the best way to revitalize the promise of our future. And if we work together with our democratic partners with strength and confidence, I know that we'll meet every challenge and outpace every challenger. What does this sound like to you? I mean, who defines democracy? Whose definition of democracy? Our model. You know, and right after that, you know we must prepare together for a long-term strategic competition with China. No, because China is preparing for a strategic competition with us. We have to push back against the Chinese government's economic abuses. Really? How many sanctions does China hold on other countries? Because we are sanctioning over 80 countries. All right, and coercion, again, sanctions, that undercut the foundations of the international economic system, like printing money nonstop. Everyone must play by the same rules. And who defines those rules? U.S. and European companies are required to publicly disclose corporate governance to corporate governance structures and abide by rules to deter corruption and monopolistic practices. Chinese companies should be held to the same standard. So, we must shape the rules that will govern the advance of technology and the norms of behavior in cyberspace, artificial intelligence, biotechnology, so that they are used to lift people up, not used to pin them down. China and Russia have been lifting more people out of poverty every year, while more and more Americans sink into poverty every single year. No American company goes into China without knowing the rules. We do not get to set China's trade rules. We don't. You know, this is also how we're going to be able to meet the threat from Russia. Putin seeks to weaken the European project and our NATO alliance. He wants to undermine the transatlantic unity and our resolve because it's so much easier for the Kremlin to bully and threaten individual states than it is to negotiate with a strong and closely united transatlantic community. I don't see Russia bullying anyone. They've got fewer than 10. They got 10 or fewer military bases outside their country. They're not threatening anybody militarily. We are. That's why standing up for the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Ukraine remains a vital concern for Europe and the United States. That's why addressing Russian recklessness and hacking into computer networks in the United States and across Europe and the world has become critical to protecting our collective security. The challenges with Russia may be different than the ones with China, but they're just as real. He's still continuing Russiagate. It has been completely invalidated, and he's still keeping it going. Similarly, we can no longer delay or do the bare minimum to address climate change. Delaying, bare minimum. All the scientists say that we need to reach net zero emissions by 2030. His policies go to 2050. All right? That is delay. That is bare minimum, period. We have to rapidly accelerate our commitments to aggressively curb our emissions and to hold one another accountable for meeting our goals and increasing our ambitions. Yeah. Let's make some actual commitments to that. All right? How about it? That's why we have said we are preparing to re-engage in negotiation with the P5+1 on Iran's nuclear program. We must also address Iran's destabilizing activities across the Middle East, and we're going to work in close cooperation with our European and other partners as we proceed. If you're going to work with your European allies still remained a part of the JCPOA. Iran remained a part of the JCPOA. The only country that withdrew from the JCPOA was the United States. The only country that is not signing back on to the JCPOA is the United States. You can read all the rest of it for yourself. But all of this, he talks about America is back and American leadership and all this. I want to give you something for contrast with that. Angela Merkel calls for strengthening multilateralism at the Munich Security Conference. All right. I could not find a full transcript of what she has to say, but multilateralism, multiple directions. Germany, Europe want to trade with Russia, at least for gas and grain. Okay? They want to trade with China for other goods. That is called multilateralism. Confrontationalism is not multilateralism. So she's calling him out. She is calling him out. Make no mistake about it. That is what she is saying. She does not agree with him. And you can count on the fact that Macron does not agree with him. The head of the European Economic Union does not agree with Biden. You know, they're about the strength of the European Union. Macron is about French sovereignty, not France following the dictates of the United States. All right, so again, he is trying to use force. He is trying to use militarism. And no, America is not back. No, America is not back. When he says that, he means militarily. That's what he is saying. He means our military is back on their soil. Because what country is faring the worst against the pandemic? What country has people, bankrupt and being thrown out of their homes? So how are we back? How are we leading anyone? Is that where we want to lead other countries? Do you think other countries want to follow that lead? Oh, America's back. We're back to holding the world at the point of a gun. That's what he is saying. This is a threat against our own allies. And they're going to take it that way. Even if they're diplomats. If you're, where he's talking about Russia and China, he talks about diplomacy. Is that how you do diplomacy? I've said it before. If you're talking with nothing but your allies in a friendly manner, that's just collusion. That's not diplomacy. Diplomacy is solving your disagreements. It's not trying to force other countries to do everything your way. But that is what he is trying to do. Don't mistake this for anything else. All right. Share this video. Talk about these subjects. Talk about these subjects. Talk about these subjects. Talk about these subjects. All right? If you can, please donate $1 a month to help expand the channel, and I will catch you in the next one.